Hello everyone, welcome to Easy Biology. The topic is about transportation, the circulatory system. So for the purpose of transport of nutrients and oxygen, their system is evolved in case of animals, and also cells also excrete waste materials by a process called excretion. But how transportation occurs in plants? How transportation occur in plants? So a tissue is present in plants called vascular tissue that comprises of xylem and phloem. So Van Helmont, a famous scientist, Van Helmont, he stated already, the increased mass of plant body is because of water content inside it. Why a plant becoming huge size means because of the water content. Means he is saying about the importance of water in plants. And how the transportation is going on in plants means, in plants roots absorb water from soil. Means from bottom to top the water has to move. At the same time, food which is prepared in leaves, it has to transport from top to bottom. Water has to move from bottom to top and the food has to move from top to bottom. So the xylem tissue in roots is present in the form of periphery to center. Why? Because it has to collect water from the surrounding. So that is why it is called periphery, and it has to distribute to the stem area. So periphery to center. Whereas the xylem in stem is present in the form of center to periphery, because the water from here has to distribute. So center to periphery. Here periphery to center in case of roots, in case of stem from center to periphery. Okay, and to show the relationship how the water is transporting in plants, we have to discuss about L.S.of root hair. Means longitudinal section of root hair showing relationship between root hair and soil water. Longitudinal section of root hair showing relationship between root hair and soil water. For this we have to take either bajra seeds or mustard seed, and we have to place it in wet condition. Then whenever the seedling comes out, now we have to perform experiment on this. How means, we have to observe the root hair on a slide. We have to take a small root portion and we have to take a small sample of root and put it on slide, and when we observe under microscope, we came to understand the mechanism how water is absorbed by the roots. So these are the xylem vessels through which water is moving upwards, and these are the epidermal cells or cortex cells. Epidermal cells or cortex cells. And the root hair is surrounding by soil particles, and the soil particles are present in between the water. Water is present here, and there are air spaces between the soil particles. Soil particles, soil, water, air, space, and this is the root hair. We know large vacuole is present, so this is the vacuole. The vacuole contains, surrounding the vacuole contains cell sap, and this is the cell wall which is surrounding root hair. Cell wall is present. As this is a living cell, so there is a nucleus, and this is the epidermal cell, and here cortex cells, and this is the xylem. So here more water is present in surrounding water, means inside the soil or underground. More water is present here which is diluted, means more water concentration is there. Whereas in case of root hair, concentrated salt solution is present compared to surrounding water. So according to osmosis, water move from high concentration to low concentration. So here the water move from soil into vacuole of root hair. Water move from soil to root hair vacuole. When water enters into vacuole, there are many number of root hairs are there. So when the water enters into vacuole, from vacuole a difference occurs to the neighboring cell, so that the water moves to the neighboring cell. From here finally the water reaches to xylem vessels. Here, as there are thousands of root hairs are there which are surrounding, which are to the main root, and all these root hairs, all the root hair cells, they create pressure and they pull together, collect water and send to the xylem. So this is how water is passed to xylem and reach the upper parts of the plant body. So this is the relationship between root hair and soil water. At the same time, here whatever the water is absorbing by the root, it is transported to upper parts through the xylem. But root pressure is created because of thousands of root hairs and root hair cells. So root pressure is one of the factor through which water is moved to upward. But it is not one and only factor. It is one of the factor. The other factors like transpiration also involves. That is why this is one of the factor and it is not one and only factor. So this is the relationship between root hair and soil water. Furthermore, we can understand through an experiment called root pressure experiment how the water reaches to upper parts. That is called as root pressure experiment. For this we have to take a small regularly watered potted plant. Daily whatever the plant we are watering, we have to select that one, and we have to remove the entire stem portion. Just we have to left a 1 centimeter above the stem cut portion. We have to left the stem cut portion just 1 centimeter above with strong rubber tubing. Here we have to place a strong rubber tubing. Now equal to the size of the stem cut portion, we have to place a stand like this, which is equal to the stem cut portion. The size of the tube is equal to the size of the stem cut portion. So this is the strong rubber tubing, and this is the stem cut portion. This is a tube, and this is the clamp which is fixed to avoid moving of stand or tube. So daily we have to pour water to it, and when we observe here, the water level which we observe, mention it as M1. After few days the water level is raised, mention it as M2. So here M2 minus M1 indicates the raising of water level, and this raising in water level is because of the root pressure, through which the roots are absorbing water with pressure and sending with that pressure to upper parts of the plant body the water. Okay, so this is about the root pressure experiment, and we will discuss about another topic in the next class.